From gorgeous uptown Burbank, Harmontown, once again, is in session. Please welcome the Game Master, Spencer Crittenden. And the mayor with the mostest, Dan Harmon.
Hello, thank you. I mean, obviously, it's like, hello, how are you, and the usual niceties. I also should add, I'm not a Nazi. Like, that's a new thing that you just add to be polite. That's the new minimum definition of interhuman communication. You want to start, I'm not a Nazi.
But if you
know that.
It would go a little something.
And then you say, oh, Dan, you're pandering, you're virtue signaling, right? Isn't that what you call it? You fucks?
Yeah.
You say you're not a Nazi, and then you get a big bell and a cookie, because that's so easy to say you're not a Nazi. Well, no, it's not that easy to say, is it? It's not easy to say you're not a Nazi. The president has a difficult time. And he has no repercussions to fear, really, except for some Nazis not voting for him. And he has traded that today. He has officially decreed, to the extent that a compulsively dishonest parasite can decree anything, he has decreed that he is a Nazi because there are people goose-stepping down a main street in the heart of America, wherever the fuck that place is, and it would have been so easy to trade a couple of Nazi votes for what he might have hoped would be a couple of non-Nazi votes. Perhaps the easiest votes to get of all. Simple non-Nazi votes. Low-hanging democratic fruit, it's been called. I promise to not be a Nazi. You're hired these days. He couldn't do it. He couldn't bring himself to do it. And that is as close as you're going to get with a coward to his saying, I'm a Nazi,
Dan,
which is what he said.
He just wants to be loved.
Yeah.
By Nazis.
And just wanting to be loved is important and human. We all just want to be loved. And the big question is, when you are not loved and a Nazi is across the street going, yoo-hoo, do you go back to being not loved or walk across the street? That is what this civil war, and I promise you that's what's brewing, is going to be all about. And it's fucking over. The discourse is over. We have sat, we have talked, we have argued, we have pondered. The discourse is over. These people that tweet you when you retweet somebody, when you just say a simple fact that should not cause you to get a knot in your stomach, like, I'm not a Nazi. The people that tweet you and say, nor am I, but just out of curiosity. Just tell them to go fuck themselves. The discourse is over. The war has begun. You're not talking to Nazis anymore. You're not talking to people that want to entertain the notion of being a Nazi anymore. You don't want to talk to people that want to circumscribe the concept of Nazism within a fucking Socratic dialectic about goddamn whether Nazi. They're fucking Nazis. It's the bedrock of humanity. It is so low that the worst people in the world find it, and that's where they rally. And it's so low, we have gotten so bad that a third of our country has gotten there. 29% of the people are fucking Nazis. Let's face it, that's a minority. We can beat them. We have to say, I'm not a Nazi, though. Yeah. 2/3 of the country just don't want to be political. It's not politics to say you're not a Nazi. It's like taking a shit. You just do it, or you explode. You die if you don't shit, and you die if you don't say you're not a Nazi. Fascism is a fucking cancer. It will eat your country unless your country kills it. Here's what happens when you get cancer. Nothing good. Nothing. There is no way out of it. I'm your country's doctor. You've got cancer. You have fascism. You are going to suffer. You are going to fight. You are going to feel pain. You are not getting out of this. We have fascism. It is happening. We're fucking dead, maybe. Or maybe they're dead. That's about it. It's not a continuum. There's no gray area. It's not a fad. Fascism doesn't pop up and then recede when it finds out no one's into it. It doesn't respond to love. It doesn't respond to hate. It doesn't respond to ignoring it. It doesn't respond to timeouts. It doesn't respond to attention. It doesn't respond to lack of attention. You stab it. You cut it out. You bombard it with poison. Or you die. And in any case, you will probably die. Don't die talking to cancer. Don't die hanging out with it. Don't die arguing with it on Twitter. It's fucking fascism. Enough. Team up. Stop bitching about Bernie Sanders. I don't care what flavor you want your democracy to be. It's democracy versus motherfucking fascism. You can be as Bernie as you want. You gotta do it later, man. You gotta do it fucking later. You gotta do it later.
You got to oppose fascism.
All right, so I have fingernail questions. Because I went on a week-long trip and I was like...
That was a fucking hairpin turn, man.
I'm not going to pack my fingernail clippers for one trip. And then do they grow from the root and they just push forward? That's where the white lines happen?
Think.
And those happen so fast and we still haven't developed a pill. How do you join Antifa? What is that?
That's just like a slur for not being a Nazi.
Is that a term that's been invented by the
more
opposition?
or less. I mean, it takes the fascist out of anti-fascism. You know?
It's like the optics couldn't be better on the term anti-fascist. You don't want to lose that part.
Right, that's why they lost it, is because otherwise they'd say anti-fascist, which they're talking about themselves as
So the bad guys shortened it to Antifa because that sounds like a Middle Eastern thing.
That's my perception. Who knows?
Well, I looked it up.
Right.
Spencer, where do you fall on fascism?
I love it. But only when it's under my banner. Because I happen to be right.
Stop arguing with them. Every person, there's 20 dudes willing to take their khakis and their tiki torches down out under the shit. They're not even the worst of the bad guys. It's the 6-to-1 outnumbering them that are just sitting there watching on their laptops going like, oh, they have a point. Fuck them. Shame them. Find them. Make them say, I'm a Nazi. Introduce yourself to all of your friends tomorrow. Hello, I'm not a Nazi. Make everyone say it or don't say it. It's come to that. I'm sorry. It's called quarantining. The president cannot say, I'm not a Nazi. Let's make it the cool thing to do. Let's see if he catches on. Let's see if he's the last person to say it.
The whole tiki torch thing. How many Home Depots are in Virginia? Like, that's a lot of fucking tiki torches.
And how in love are they with that culture, the island culture? Or do they just hate mosquitoes that bad?
They're throwing the only luau where nobody got laid. You know, the whole protest is all in the pockets of Big Tiki Torch.
Here's a fun joke.
That was Church's joke from earlier. I stole her joke.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Funny.
Funny who?
Funny Nazi.
Funny Nazi who?
A funny Nazi doesn't exist. There's no such thing. Have you ever gotten a laugh from interacting with any of these people? You have to lose your humor before you get to that point. They're not making music videos, these people. They're not talented dancers. There's no, you always see the people, I saw Hart Hansen, the poor, kind Canadian soul, created Bones, probably fed these people their fucking murder bones for 20 years of fucking syndicated Bones episodes. And he bothers to say, like, well, that president seems like a fart face. And then, like, someone's going like, hey, I love your show. But, respecting the president should be a thing. Like, what? Fuck you, man. Like, fuck you. Like,
you know what we should do?
Fuck you. Nobody that makes television respects any politician. Nobody. Like, go fucking watch all TV that's only made by fucking, like, Nazis.
Linwood Boomer.
You're going to be watching like, some weird Veggie Tales show that we don't know about, where the tomato is, like, killing Jews and, like and the pickle says, like, how do you do that? And the tomato says, practice. And it's not going to be good. They're not going to land a joke. I guarantee you that. They can't land a fucking joke. Why do you think they're so mad? Do we have any Nazis here? It's a legitimate question now. It's just a fucking straight up legitimate. It's as easy
I'm
as
a little disappointed, actually. I thought our crowd is big enough to have a couple Nazis. Is anybody kind of a Nazi? Woo!
So here's the ways we could die. We could die by Nazi, like somebody. I know I'm going to die. My longest longevity will be like firing squad, like because I'm on record now. I've said I don't like Nazis. You guys are still in the clear. You could be like what they call the March Violets or whatever in the Third Reich. Like you can later say, oh no, I was just hanging out. I was just waiting to make a decision. Nazi, please. Good for you. Good for you. You're a survivor. I respect you so much. That's why I love your notes on Rick and Morty. I love you. I love your opinions about women, and I just think you're the cat's pajamas, you fucking pukes. And I've only gotten this far by giving a fuck. Psych. Dan Harmon turned into Kramer. The Nazis turned Dan Harmon into Kramer. Ironically, okay. Anyways, sorry. Look, I didn't know. I don't script the show. I just want to say, I'm feeling what you're feeling. I know you're upset. Thank you for coming out to a warehouse in Burbank when you're this upset. Like, you should be scared to leave your house now. Like, thank you. I don't mean to dump on you. I'm just hoping to cathartify you a little bit. I don't know.
He also wants to make up a new word called cathartify.
I don't know, I know there's no straight answer, like, for all of you. You're not all feeling the same way at all. Sometimes some of you are coming here to escape this stuff, and then you're bummed out. I was like, oh, Dan's just as mad as I am. I don't want this shit. I don't want to listen to Dad yell about what I'm yelling about. Some of you are coming, and I was like, oh, God, what if I just talked about Minecraft for 2 hours? You'd be like, why did Dan do that? Is he a Nazi? Like